And what a nail-biting night he had to endure from the bench. The referee, Kevin McNally, was very much at the centre of events. Barnsley's Phil Chambers here, one of 8 players booked on the night. And on the stroke of half-time, the referee gave a penalty for handball there by John Buchanan. It's Cardiff's Alan Campbell, the number 4, who comes up to lead their protests, and Buchanan himself, the number 11, joining in and getting caution for his comments. But after the delay, it was Ronnie Glavin who gave Barnsley the lead from the penalty spot. And 2 minutes into the second half, Ian Banks here setting up Derek Parker for a goal that seemed to see Barnsley home and dry, to the delight of a crowd of over 13,000. But 10 minutes from time, Buchan's superb 25-yarder gave Cardiff some hope, though again Mr McNally adding to the drama by consulting the linesman before giving the goal. Ian Banks always dangerous from midfield, then wide with this effort, and a real end-to-end match saw Mick McCarthy head over his own crossbar. Back at the other end, and the yellow card was out again, and an indirect free kick to Barnsley some 10 yards from the Cardiff goal. But Cardiff survived and then went on to equalise right on the 90-minute mark from John Lewis's free kick. But with injury time going on, Ian Banks shot a winner that caught everyone, including our cameramen, by surprise, and that goal coming 6 minutes into injury time, but it was enough to ensure a great night for Barnsley. So Barnsley are through to a 4th round tie at West Ham that will be played on October 28th. Well, oddly enough, it's a repeat of last year's 2nd round when
new manager Norman Hunter. His ambitions for Barnsley. Today the boss had to pull on his boots again, and to tell us how he got on, here's Martin Tyler.
Has confined himself to the substitutes bench since taking over from Alan Clark 7 games ago. But today he adopts a starting role in midfield because of Barnsley's injury problems. Barnsley are without their top scorer Ronnie Glavin and Glyn Riley, and Neil Cooper is dropped down to substitute. Trevor Aylott, still on the transfer list, is given another chance to boost a Barnsley attack which has failed to score in its last 2 home games, both ironically against London clubs. Today Barnsley must find a way past John Jackson, now at 38, surely the doyen of Football League goalkeepers. Jackson is by far the most experienced man in a side that includes 8 teenagers, partly because Millwall have injury problems of their own, but mostly because the financial restrictions of the club have forced manager George Petchey to sell 3 first-team players already this season, and he'll have to sell again next month. Today's referee is George Flint from Kirby in Ashfield, and it's Millwall in the black shorts with the worst away record in the Football League this season. They've played 6 away games and lost all 6 and conceded 17 goals in the process. And indeed, they haven't won away from home since October the 27th last year, when they won at Sheffield United. Millwall in the black shorts against the Barnsley side, who are seeking to break a run themselves of 5 games without a win. The 1 or 2 problems for the players with the sun in their eyes. 10 is Chris Dibble for Millwall, and it really is something of a youth team that they put out this afternoon. But when you remember that their youth side in 1979 were the winners of the FA Youth Cup, it shows that they're building from strength. And this is a teenager for Barnsley, Joe Joyce, and in preference to Neil Cooper. The first touch for Norman Hunter. Joyce again, beaten by Dave Memmett, who will play further forward than normal in this Millwall lineup because John Mitchell, their normal first-choice striker, failed the fitness test this morning. Ian Banks for Barnsley. Coming in towards Aylott, who made contact with the cross, still looking for his first goal of the season. Curved in by Downs, Aylott getting between the 2 defenders. Here's Leicester. We've seen Downs on both sides of the field in this opening 10 minutes for Barnsley. Leicester again. games against Sitton. This is Aylott. Jackson in trouble, and a chance for Leicester, and then for Parker, and Jackson recovers. Clearly feeling that he was impeded by the first challenge by Aylott. As Downs clipped it in, that was the challenge there, I think, that Jackson was appealing about. And Leicester tried to work it onto his right foot. Parker was hardly helping him, really, but Jackson finally seeing the ball again. Tag being advised by his teammates that he had time for the back pass. Beautiful touch from Mehmet to pull that one down. And a good turn for Chatterton. McKenna on from Dibble, and Martin was caught offside. Dave Martin, who at 17 is the youngest Millwall player, the current captain of the England youth side, and he's just spent this past week away on squad training. Chatterton, and a miscue, Kinsella helping out. And Roberts finding Aylott a little handful, and the referee, George Flint, in one of those awkward situations when he felt that he had to blow for the foul because he wasn't sure that Aylott had got away cleanly. In fact, he had, and in the end, the free kick rather penalising Barnsley. Flipped in by Hunter. It's Evans on the far post. And he was well picked out by the free kick, Ian Evans, who scored the winner the last time we were here against Sheffield United. And Norman Hunter with that deep free kick, but Evans couldn't direct his header onto the target. This is Joyce. Hunter getting forward. Placed by Chatterton. And, well, so nearly a situation of great problems for Millwall because of Norman Hunter's enterprise and a fiercely driven cross that Millwall were at full strength to turn away. Hunter turning past Chatterton, and via that left foot able to drill it in. Joyce, and Graham Dibble doing the defensive side of his job well. Clipped forward by Banks. Might come here for Parker, and now Aylott! And via the inside of the post, Trevor Aylott turns away in celebration of his first goal of the season. Coming at just at the right time for Barnsley, who are beginning to show a little bit of frustration. Touched off by Derek Parker, perfectly onto his right foot, and no chance for Jackson. 27 minutes gone. So away from home, Millwall must come from behind once more. George Petchey has said that it's a problem for the teenagers when they do go behind, and Parker coming in to try and add to that lead. It's much harder for inexperienced players to keep their sense of composure and discipline when the pressure begins to go against them. Norman Rimington on the extreme right of the Barnsley bench, who enjoyed a successful testimonial match here against Leeds United on Tuesday night. A crowd of more than 6,000, a fine turnout for a loyal servant who opted to stay with Barnsley even though Alan Clark offered him a job at Leeds. Here's Mehmet. Nice touch by McKenna, and it was Chatterton joining in, and then Dibble with the shot that was blocked. Chatterton again. Enough of the ball to allow Hunter the tackle. Here's Roberts. And Martin powering through, and it's in those situations where lack of experience shows. Dave Martin, who really did everything right, and then just ran the ball too far ahead of him. Aylott again. And first time from Downs for Aylott, who continued his run. And again, Tag comes out on top. Header from Joyce, but an unfair one, although perhaps the referee was in a mind to blow for half-time anyway. The first half that, in all honesty, needed a goal, and Trevor Aylott providing it after 27 minutes. True reward, really, for a good personal first half for him. And Barnsley, goalless in their last 2 home games, go off with the satisfaction of leading Millwall by 1-0 at half-time. Barnsley announced a working loss last season of more than £190,000, but with fundraising and donations, they are in the black at the bank. This after also spending close to £500,000 on new players. So in difficult times for football, it represents a notable achievement for sensible administration here at Oakwell. So 1 goal to the good. Barnsley will attack the goal to the right in the second half. It will come as no comfort to Millwall in these times where things are so difficult for them away from home, but it's 50 years since they last won a league game here at Barnsley. Joyce leaving the throw to McCarthy. Who is the long throw specialist. Evans is well forward, and Parker too. And coming in behind them all was Ian Banks, who slightly damaged a shoulder. Chatterton, good vision. Here's Roberts. McKenna. And Chatterton was floored off the ball by Hunter, and I think the sun was in the referee's eyes. And certainly Barnsley are rather fortunate to be allowed to go on. Banks put behind by Coleman, and Chatterton was still continuing his dialogue with the referee about the previous incident. That's Martin, the number 7. Downs with the corner, and Evans coming off the near post, and McCarthy. McCarthy, an authoritative defender in the air, and putting that aspect of his game to good use from the set piece. For Sitton. Here's Downs. Now Banks. Hunter providing the width on the left. And there was revenge in that late tackle by Nicky Chatterton. It all stemmed back to the incident a minute and a half or so ago, when Hunter stood his ground and blocked Chatterton off the ball. The referee didn't spot it then, but he couldn't miss Chatterton's effort. So the yellow card for the Millwall skipper. And Jackson needing help from Kinsella. But Mr. Flint had blown the whistle. Hunter got up to take the free kick himself. And the referee spotted, I think, a foot that was raised as the ball rolled loose. Getting away with the use of his hand as well. I don't know whether they have different rules for managers who play. I think he knew quite clearly that he had handled it. Certainly the crowd did. On from Downs. Touch from Banks. Leicester. This is Joe Joyce. Again. May well have been an attempt at a shot. It might come for Leicester yet. Here's Hunter. Barnsley keeping up the pressure. And this time getting one or two more bodies into the penalty area. Hunter and Chatterton continue their personal duel, which goes Millwall's way until Martin presents it straight to Banks, who nearly punished him in full for the error. He caught it on the half volley. It was Dave Martin who gave the ball away there. And as it dropped, really clattered at goal by Ian Banks. Jackson doing well to hold on. Well, for all their advantage in terms of the territory that they've spanned, of course, one goal to the good Barnsley, and of course to me that they certainly can't settle on. And here's Chatterton, striking it with the outside of the foot but not getting any curve on it at all. He's regularly totted up the goals over his years with Crystal Palace and with Millwall. Nick Chatterton. This is Dibble playing it in, and Chatterton finding the ball dropping for him. You could see what was in his mind. Downs. Kinsella keeping it in. Here's Dibble. Millwall again have got men forward quickly, but Hunter allowing McKenna no time to dwell on the ball. Aylott. Now Leicester. Here's Chambers. Aylott ahead of him, Parker in the middle. Now Hunter. Aylott again. Parker trying to set up Leicester. I think he was looking for placement rather than power. Got neither right, really. McCarthy with the Sun and Dibble to contend with. Leicester. Inside the last 5 minutes. And I must say it's been Barnsley's inadequacies in front of goal rather than the opposition offered by Millwall that has kept this game as a contest to the last. Kinsella. Up in the air from Joyce. Nicely collected by Leicester. Here's Banks. And Sitton, who will look back on the second half with personal pleasure, but not that particular pass. Banks picking out Chambers. Hunter. Aylott looking to turn tag. Downs. And Parker, penalty. Coleman the offender. Mr. Flint couldn't have been more than 5 yards away. As Downs knocked the header back in, it was Derek Parker pushed in the back by Phil Coleman. And Barnsley now with a chance to make sure. And Ronnie Glavin, who normally takes the penalties, of course, is out of the side. Ian Banks, who on a previous occasion when Glavin was missing this season at Gillingham, scored from the spot. So it's Banks, the 20-year-old, against the 38-year-old veteran John Jackson. And 2-0 just. In the 88th minute. McCarthy. So Barnsley end their run of 5 games without a win, with Norman Hunter lasting the full 90 minutes for the first time since he's taken over the job as player manager, and he'll be pleased with that just a few days away from his 37th birthday. Ian Banks going off there, having secured the 2 points with his late penalty. For Millwall, though, the catalogue of disaster away from home goes on. They've lost all 7 away games now in the 3rd division this season, and it's a year and 22 games in all since they last went away in the 3rd division. And in truth, it really should have been a bigger margin than Barnsley 2, Millwall 0. Trevor Aylott with the first half goal for Barnsley and the late penalty from Ian Banks.
Trevor, what did you think of the Barnsley performance today?
Well, I thought we did very well, you know. A good 2-0 victory against anybody's a good result. And now we've gone 4 games without getting beat. If we can get a run going, we'll be up with the top come a couple of weeks, you know.
You have had 1 or 2 problems playing at home in terms of scoring goals in the previous 2 games. Was that a bit of a worry? It was half an hour before you broke the deadlock today. Were you beginning to think it was going to be that sort of game again?
No, I thought we could break that defence down, because they looked shaky from the start to me. And they was panicking on, there was balls being played in and they was hacking them out when they had time. So I thought, well, they look a bit shaky and we should take advantage of it.
Well, you took advantage right after 27 minutes, I think it was. Would you like to tell us about it now as we look at it again?
Well, I think it was Joe threw it to Banksy, and he's knocked it in with his left foot to Derek. He did very well to Derek, brought it down and knocked it inside.
You had a clear shot here.
I just whacked it. Wasn't sure whether it was going in. I sit at the post and then, while up it's in, get in there.
It's been something of an up and down season for you, Trevor, hasn't it? I mean, if we look back to the start, the first game where you had that episode with the shirt throwing thing with Alan Clark, and now you're on the transfer list. What is your future here at Barnsley?
Well, the boss hasn't said nothing to me, and he's playing me, so obviously I'm part of his plans. And while I'm in the first team, I'm happy.
Well, Trevor came in a couple of weeks ago and asked to go on a transfer list, and my policy is if people don't want to stay, well, they'll have to go. But Trevor's knuckled down to it, and at this moment in time, he is playing extremely well. He's scoring goals, and he's our target man. And as you said today, I thought he was magnificent. And as far as I'm concerned, he can stay here.
Do you know whether he wants to stay here?
Well, I think it's difficult when you move from different parts of the country, especially from London up north. They seem to take longer to settle. And I think Trevor's problem and his family's is that. I think if we can get him to settle and he can keep on playing the way he is, I think he's got a future here.
You are a Londoner. Is it a problem of adjustment to South Yorkshire?
Oh, it's different, a lot different.
In what way?
Everyone seems to know everybody up here. You go out and in London, I was just another face, but down here everyone recognises you. Such a small place, you know.
Before the game, when we were talking, you were talking to a representative of the club about the jacket that you were wearing, and you were asking him, I believe, if our
coats out of this.
if our cameraman can just show the cuffs there. You wanted the cuffs shortened. Now, that's a club suit. That suggests that you might be of a mind to stay here a bit longer if you're going to have your jacket altered.
Yeah. Well, it depends how much it costs to do, doesn't it? No, but as I say, I think I could get 2 jackets out of this, so I want the sleeves shortened.
Well,
let's
let's hope it becomes a good fit, because the way you played today, Trevor, you were a good fit in the side.
Thanks very much, Martin.
I'm quite sure that much-needed result is just the time.
In the end, wasn't enough to beat West Ham, getting a much-contested winner. But the match again illustrated Barnsley's consistency in recent weeks, unbeaten in the league throughout October.
Clipped forward by Banks. Come here for Parker, and now Aylott! And fire the inside of the post. Hunter. Aylott looking to turn tag. Downs. And Parker, penalty. And 2-0 just.
And last Saturday, Norman Hunter's side enjoyed a really fine success at Plymouth. Barnsley here in the dark shorts. And in fact, they came from behind. The Plymouth goal 8 minutes before half-time, John Sims pushing the ball in. In the second half, Barnsley had Glyn Riley on as a substitute for Derek Parker, but they had to wait until 20 minutes from the end to equalise. But what a goal it was. Mike Lester's volley, we just get a glimpse of it there because it really flashed in. An absolutely brilliant goal, and in fact it turned the tide of the game. Because 2 minutes later, Barnsley got in front. Bobby Downs was involved again here, the number 11, and his cross picking out Glyn Riley beyond the far post, and another accurate header there. 2-1 to Barnsley, and plenty for the travelling Barnsley fans behind the goal there to enjoy. Well, with Plymouth looking to get right back on terms, Barnsley broke away for a third goal right on time. It was Ian Banks leading the charge out here, and looked for some good advantage played by the referee. Banks is held, but the ball rolls on to Trevor Aylott, who's on his way. Ronnie Glavin's up in support. The man with a real hunger for goals, and he just rolls it across the line. 3-1 to Barnsley. In the match-winning goal coming after 66 minutes from Glyn Riley, set up by the little pass here from Trevor Aylott, and then Riley showing good skill to get into a scoring position and then producing a good finish at the end of it. Shortly afterwards, Barnsley had the ball in the Exeter net again, but you can see a push coming up there by Aylott as his header crosses the line. And Trevor Aylott was unlucky again before the finish, with Ronnie Glavin away on the Barnsley left here, supported by Phil Chambers, and a beautifully directed header by Aylott. Hits the bar though, comes out, and Mike Lester can't put it back into the net. Well, 1-0 to Barnsley then. And on Tuesday, Barnsley put 5 goals past Hull City, another miserable result for Hull, following on last Saturday's 4-goal drubbing at Newcastle.
There's a pack of 4 of them tucked in behind the leaders, Charlton Athletic. Chesterfield stay second despite their defeat at Huddersfield, who are in 5th place, with Barnsley and Rotherham sandwiched in between. And it was Barnsley who produced one of their best performances at Portsmouth. John Hughes reports.
By a gale-force wind, Portsmouth attacked from the start of this important promotion match. A long cross, Derek Showers heads in, but an offside decision rescues Barnsley. Then Barnsley score from their first serious attack. Trevor Aylott pulls the ball back, and Glyn Riley makes no mistake. The goal, after 38 minutes, stuns the crowd of just on 15,000, but the Barnsley players celebrate, although Norman Hunter, their manager, immediately calls for even more effort. Portsmouth again. Joe Laidlaw shoots, and Martin New produces a brilliant reflex save. The second half now. A fierce drive from Dave Gregory, and another tremendous save by New keeps Barnsley in front. Just before the end, Aylott breaks for Barnsley, and his shot is well saved by Peter Mellor. So the result again, Portsmouth 0, Barnsley 1.
Barnsley battling away and towards the top of the 3rd division. Now, children were...
After 12 minutes, a shot from Barnsley's Derek Parker deceived the home defenders, and that proved to be the winning goal. Takes Barnsley into a 3rd round home tie against St Albans, or
and found Norman Hunter's influence term. What the game lacked in skill, it certainly made up in commitment, which translated means it was a hard, dour battle. The goal which settled it for Barnsley was, to say the least, unusual. A remarkable throw-in tempted the Rotherham goalkeeper off his line. The ball came to Derek Parker, whose shot bounced in over a defender's foot. Not a classic, but enough for Barnsley to fall back and defend for much of the game. Rotherham never had the power to break down a well-organised defence, and in the second half, Barnsley looked likely at times to increase their lead. Before Saturday, Barnsley's only defeat in 17 games was against West Ham in the League Cup. At the end, Norman Hunter was well pleased with his team's latest display.
In the third round. The only goal of the game coming from a long throw, clicked on initially there by
disappeared under the wall. And Riley didn't have to wait too long for his first test. This is Gordon Davis, by far Fulham's best forward. Good shot there, and that's a fine save by any standards. It's Goodless with the corner. Davis there again, and Tony Marnie heads Fulham in front. Barnsley equalised from this free kick just before half-time, taken by Chambers, a firm header from Ian Evans, and Trevor Aylott punishes Brown's miss kick. Well, early in the second half, Derek Parker bundled Barnsley in front, but watch out for a super run now from Ronnie Glavin. Picks the ball up there and carves his way through the heart of the Fulham defence. There's only the goalkeeper left now, but Payton's out well, and Fulham get the ball away. Fulham brought on Robert Wilson for Kevin Locke, but Barnsley continued to make the best chances. There's a weak clearance there by Gale, a touch from Banks, Aylott on the turn and off the post. But it had to come, Barnsley's third and the best goal of the night. Glavin, their outstanding player, at the heart of it again. A good pass from him to Leicester, but watch out for a lovely finish now from Ian Banks. Terrific goal that, and Ian Banks really has every reason to celebrate. Fulham never pressurised the inexperienced goalkeeper as they should have done, but they pushed Dave Clement well forward here, and he puts O'Driscoll through in a good position. Riley's lost it this time, and that's a simple tap-in for the substitute Wilson. But it was Barnsley's night. They'd won 3-2. Those loyal supporters well rewarded. They'd seen their team go top for the first beginning.
The drama began in the 6th minute, in fact, when Barnsley goalkeeper Gary Pearce was badly injured in a collision here with the Fulham striker Tony Marnie, with Pearce sustaining a cut knee which Barnsley manager Norman Hunter described to me tonight as the worst cut he'd seen in professional football. A stretcher is called for straight away, and also summoned is the Barnsley substitute Glyn Riley, who has to go in goal for the first time in his league career. Glyn Riley, of course, normally a striker.
Despite the scoreline, David Icke reports it was the North Londoners who forced the face.
They pushed Barnsley back and almost took the lead. And they went even closer minutes later following a corner. Steve Oliver's header beat the goalkeeper but hit the bar. But slowly Barnsley's experience and composure began to show, and after 32 minutes Trevor Aylott gave them the lead. Then in the second half, Barnsley went further ahead with a superb goal from Ronnie Glavin, who played a 1-2 before beating the goalkeeper. Enfield continued to battle, but it wasn't their night. In all, they hit the woodwork 3 times, but the ball wouldn't go in. And in the last minute, Barnsley scored the 3rd goal for a victory that did little justice to Enfield's performance. The scorer again, Trevor Aylott, and the result, Enfield 0.
Trevor Aylott leading the way.
Starting where they left off on Saturday, and Steve King's gone across to take the corner. And Oliver! Joyce coming forward. Glavin, who comes to life really when he's around the penalty area. Planted in by Downs. And Aylott stares in the header. Glavin. Banks. Glavin again. 2-0. And a touch of class. Steve Barrett, who hit a real screamer on Saturday from even further out than this. And Barrett drives it again low, and it's the inside of the post. Barnsley caught square, and Holmes a chance to cross it in. Down for King, and it just won't go in for Enfield. Space here for Downs. Aylott coming in. Now for Enfield, it is all over. Trevor Aylott gets his second. It's 3-0 for Barnsley.
Trevor, you took a little bit of stick on Saturday for missing a chance halfway through the second half that perhaps would have settled that tie in the first place. What are your feelings now after getting the 2 goals?
Well, obviously I'm very happy about it because I had a terrible weekend because you showed it on the telly about 1,400 times and I had to watch it. But after scoring these 2 goals, I was well pleased.
Well, Enfield came at you again tonight in a really strong start, so your first goal really came at a crucial time.
Yes, well, how long was it? About 35 minutes, was
31 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's a nice time to score just before half-time, give us a breathing space. And we came out in the second half, and they had to come at us then. And, well, we knocked another 2 in through the last 16.
I'm glad to see the back of Enfield.
Oh, very much so. They played very well in both the ties, and maybe next year be their year.
And now you become the underdogs going to Middlesbrough. What are your feelings about that?
Oh, I'm a lot happier about that because we'll be in the same situation as Enfield were. There'll be no pressure on us at all and it'll be up to...